The text messaging part of Grower's Edge is very handy because every day I'll receive a text that shows me where the best local market is.
That's what I like about Grower's Edge too. It gives me the information I want on my smartphone so that if I'm not in the office, I still get the information that I need.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bills. Today is Monday the 1st. We had the market mixed here. Let's take a look at the grain hedge trading platform and see where we closed off the day. Corn trading up 1 1/4 cents, soybeans down 7.5, and wheat in Chicago here charging higher after a week of selling, up 17 1/4 cents on the day. Let's take a look at that wheat chart, see what that meant in terms of changing this charting landscape. You'll notice that we were able to put in a nice bottom here. Last week we had sold off pretty significantly. We kind of bounced today. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of continuation tomorrow. Keep in mind that if we do, we'll have some overhead resistance right up there around 512. That's where the 100-day moving average is. It offered up very significant resistance 2 weeks ago, and I wouldn't be surprised if we bump our heads on it again if it offers up some more resistance in the future. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that wheat is still in a bear trend. Even though we had a nice turnaround today, when you look at this chart, it's going from the upper left to the lower right. We have lower lows, we have lower highs, and in general, I would say that until that changes, I think that we have to view wheat as a weaker commodity. We need to view wheat as a commodity that needs to be sold into during these rallies. If you're a marketer, if you're a producer of this, you're going to want to look to price on these rallies when we get up near these high side, these resistance levels, considering the fact that it has not given us any real opportunity to show that wheat is ready to turn around, wheat is ready to start a different trend here. So in general, I would approach wheat with caution. I think that any sort of rally here, especially when we get up near that 100-day moving average, could be an opportunity to price some of that wheat and maybe lock in some of next year's production as well. When you look at soybeans, take a look here. You'll notice that we broke through the previous lows from the that were set back last September and October. We broke through them last week. We kind of came back up. We touched on it Friday on that previous support level. That acted as resistance, so we did have that sort of role reversal, and this morning we traded lower. The port workers out of Rosario, they were able to reach an agreement here after a strike kind of disrupted the port, disrupted the exporting of meal, it disrupted some of the export sales of pure raw soybeans. So it's nice to get that resolved, and that's going to cause, I think, some more activity, some more export activity out of Argentina. So that's positive to see, and that's negative for soybean prices here in the U.S. Let's take a look at export inspections. That came out here this morning. Corn and wheat both within analyst expectations. Corn with 975,000 metric tons inspected for export. Wheat coming in 359,000 metric tons inspected for export. Soybeans was the only one that disappointed here. 73,000 metric tons inspected for export. Analysts were expecting anywhere between 150 to 275,000 metric tons. Let's take a look at the weather going forward. This week it looks as though we're going to have some clearing up out of that southern plains area that's just been hammered with rain really for the last 5 weeks. So it seems as though they're going to get a little bit of a break there from the precipitation, but some precipitation is likely to be falling in the northern part of the plains. You'll notice eastern Montana, North Dakota, some of South Dakota, Colorado, Nebraska, all going to be receiving above average precipitation this week. Those northern plains, particularly in the earlier part of this week, will be affected. Next week, looks as though we're going to see some precipitation there on the eastern coast, but it looks as though, for the most part, remaining dry there for the southern plains, so that's going to be beneficial to that crop. And we'll talk a little bit about that crop, the crop conditions here, when we get into discussing crop progress, which is actually next. So let's talk a little bit about crop progress. We did see corn plantings reported at 95% complete. So really corn plantings for the most part done here. Analysts were expecting somewhere around 96% complete. Soybeans were expected to see somewhere around 75% complete. It was reported today at 71%, so a little behind analyst expectations here, but nothing too shabby. When you look at the 4-year average, we are still ahead of that 4-year average, which stands at 70% during this time. So soybeans, nothing to worry about. Did come in a little shy of analyst expectations. One thing to keep in mind, of course, is crop conditions for corn. You'll notice that was unchanged this week. We are still behind where we were last year at June 1st. We were really a percentage point ahead in terms of good to excellent last year. This year we're sitting right at 74%. Last year we were at 75%. So in general, very, very positive conditions here. Not record-breaking, but certainly not bad. Winter wheat, on the other hand, did shed some good to excellent. It was down from 37 last week to 36% good. What we saw was an increase in the poor category from 13% now to 14%. So we did see some winter wheat conditions, a little bit disappointing. On a state level, Texas was down 5% in the good to excellent. We know that that's really a story about the heavy rains down there falling on that mature crop, causing concerns about overall crop quality, about disease, and in general hurting the crop conditions here for wheat. So we did see a little bit of a disappointment in terms of crop quality for winter wheat. I think that's one of the reasons why we could have seen a little bit of a rally here today. I think the other, really the fundamental reason why wheat rallied is because just the sharp selling that we saw here during last week's session, coupled with a little bit of this news here in terms of overall crop quality. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have anything else, anything you want me to talk about on the show, please give the office a call. Number is 877-472-4607. Remember, if you haven't done so already, take a demo of the 14-day free trial. See what it's like to have live quotes on your mobile phone. See what it's like to have live quotes on your desktop. We have a great platform, very intuitive, easy to use. We'll give you a walkthrough of it. Make sure you get the most out of that 14-day free trial. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you here on Tuesday.